What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Do Crew? This is Ballhawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
All right, well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Lions Talk Live morning show edition on a Saturday. And you know what? We're one day closer to the games that matter, one day closer to preseason games. And yes, one day closer to the pads come on Monday. We know what that means. Everybody who's an NFL fan understands when the practices get to the point that the pads come on that, hey, it's going to get real. Things are going to go up a whole nother level in camp. You're going to see some more scrimmages break out. There were some skirmishes there were yesterday, Friday in camp. A couple guys got a little chippy with each other. And you know what? Thankfully, nothing big came out of it. As we all probably are definitely aware by this point, Michael Badgley is out for the Detroit Lions for the season. But we're going to talk about some things in the 5 topics now that affect Michael Badgley, affect the Detroit Lions kicking department. We're also going to talk about the main topic of the day, Detroit Lions defense, and just how good they might be. You got Captain Jack himself, Jack Campbell, coming out saying, hey, he's got some expectations for it. You got Lee McNeil made some comments to reporters yesterday saying he thinks they can be the number 1 unit in the whole league. And what do you expect a guy to say? Hey, we're going to fight for number 2. We're going to fight for number 10. Now, Lee McNeil, DJ Reader both made commentary about, hey, they think this Detroit Lions D could just be outstanding. Also, at the bottom of the hour, we're going to have somebody most of you probably all know, the Godfather himself, Micro Mike, is going to be joining us around 7:30 a.m., so about halfway through the show. All right, a couple things before we get into the meat of the show. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making that push to get to 7,100 subs, and we're about 40 some subs away. I mean, somewhere in that vicinity. Also, if you would take a quick moment of time, it's free of charge. It takes about half a second. Hit that thumbs up, like button, whatever you want to call it button. Go ahead and do that, because as you guys probably are aware, the more likes we get on a video, the more it kicks, the YouTube algorithm kicks it out to people who haven't yet discovered Lions Talk Live. So if you can, we try to get each show to 200 to 300 thumbs up, etc. Last but not least, one of my 50 jobs is I'm a realtor. So if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, you can give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let me work for you, see if I can save you some money, make the process a whole lot easier. So feel free to reach on out, see what I can do for you, and make the process of buying property, whether it's a new home, secondary home, commercial land, commercial or vacant land, I should say, a whole lot easier than go ahead and give me a call. Know what number you do. Let's see what I can do for you. If you're outside the state of Michigan, I can still work for you. Just got to do things a little bit different. All right, welcome to Lions Talk Live. We'll get the morning show going here. We're going to start it off, as you guys probably are definitely aware, with I can't talk today, with 5 headlines now. So without further ado, let's get over to 5 headlines now. All right, so welcome to Lions Talk Live. We got some 5 headlines now. Let's get into it. And, man, I got some problems today. All right, here we go. Veteran Lions cornerback can't stop smiling over getting another chance in Detroit. This is from M Live and someone who's been popping up more and more on our screen lately, Ben Raven, Nevermore himself. Hey, they're talking about Emmanuel Mosley. Emmanuel Mosley sits down with Raven after yesterday's practice and does a bit of an interview talking about he knew when he came over to Detroit, he was rolling the dice a little bit because he was coming off that ACL tear in San Francisco. The Niners did want him to resign. Other teams had reached out to him, but he liked what the situation going on with the Detroit Lions. He liked what was going on with MCDC, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, and the energy in the room, as he put it, towards what the Detroit Lions were doing as far as revitalizing the franchise. He went through all the work of rehabbing that first ACL tear, and yeah, just a nightmare scenario for anybody going through a recovery process. You get back on the field, you get 2 snaps in, and what happens? Tragedy strikes again. He tears his other ACL. But he said instead of being upset, he used that as a motivational factor to get back on the field, and he came back and he felt record time. He feels like he's in the best shape of his career. Now he just has to go out there and prove it. He said his goal was to be one of the starting cornerbacks and to be a part of the starting core defense for this team this upcoming season. He also is somebody who alluded to how strong the defense could be this year, and he does believe they could be a top 10 defense. So rooting for Emmanuel Moseley. I think he's a pretty good player and could help take this team another level. All right, former Detroit Lions lineman Isaiah Buggs sentenced to hard labor in Alabama on animal cruelty charges. This is from CBS News Detroit. And, hey, I know last year I took a lot of flack, a lot of people throwing stones at my windshield and stuff, saying some of those reports I had about Isaiah Buggs getting into it with Aaron Glenn in the lunchroom and stuff. And not like they threw punches at each other, just got in each other's faces. Hey, one thing I'm going to say, if you're going to be an investigative journalist, you're going to get some things right. You're going to get some things wrong. This is one of the ones I got right. So, hey, kudos to me, I guess. There are a number of friends of mine in Detroit media who said they can't report on it for a number of reasons. Gave it to me. I ran with it. Isaiah Buggs, in his final year with Detroit, had a real up and down season. We get it. Eventually, the team decided to move on from him. The Kansas City Chiefs picked him up. And unfortunately for Buggs, whatever the situation is, and a lot of this is, just hard for anybody to watch somebody go through, he's had a rough year. I guess we could just say that. He's had some alleged domestic disputes with his significant other, and then obviously the dog cruelty charges. Hopefully he can get things turned around. Hopefully this is an opportunity for him to right the ship. But yes, Isaiah Buggs, the former Detroit Lion, is now going to spend, I think it's 60 days in prison. All right, former Lions, and this is one I'm happy about. We go from bad news to good news. Former Lion Jerry Jacobs, who signed with the LA Rams, and this is from the AP News. I always liked Jerry Jacobs. I thought, outstanding guy. Did everything you could ask from him. Should he have been a starting number 1 cornerback in the NFL? Probably not. But because of the situation in Detroit with the secondary injuries or whatever you want to blame, he was forcing that role a lot. And it just, I know a lot of fans of the Detroit Lions are going to be naysayers towards the guy. I'm not among them. I thought he did a great job, but he did a great job being a number 4 or 5 NFL roster depth chart corner, forced into playing the number 1 spot. And it's just something he wasn't able to do. Thankfully, he's going to get another opportunity to continue his career in the NFL, this time with the Rams, who we all know we face week 1 of the NFL season. All right, Detroit Lions work out 4 new kickers after a veteran lost for the season. AP News. So we all suspected that the Lions, when they got the news about Michael Badgley 2 days ago, reported it yesterday morning. It came out that, man, that's a significant injury. For someone who's blown his hamstring just, a couple months ago, the fact that he ripped it and tore it and actually had, I guess, part of it tear away from the muscle and the bone. Yeah, that's a significant injury. He's going to be out for a long while. So wishing Michael Badgley nothing but the best, but the Lions did work out some other kickers because they do want to have training camp competition for Jake Bates. And hey, Jake Bates wins it, he wins it. Right now, he is the betting favorite. Speaking of Jake Bates, who is Jake Bates? What to know of Detroit Lions backup kicker after Michael Badgley injury? The USA Today from Hassan Kassam. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, but any rate, they do a deep dive interview process with Jake Bates, getting into it and just teach everybody a little bit more about him. All right, let's go ahead and hop over to the next segment before the main segment, and that is NFC North news. All right, NFC North news. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on these guys since they're not us, but hey, just real quick, Minnesota Vikings offensive line, I put all my chips in on rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy as Minnesota's future. The article does go on to point out that they don't believe that J.J. is going to start week 1 or 2 or 3 of the season, but they do feel like halfway through the season or so, J.J. McCarthy is the expected quarterback for the future of the Minnesota Vikings. So Sam Cassell will take over and start for the Minnesota Vikings, or at least expected start of the year. Chicago Bears camp. Caleb Williams steps into the middle of a first scuffle, fires TD, and hurry up. So there's some reports, and not just with the Bears, not just with Lions, but hey, you're in your first full week with the training camp. Guys are starting to get chippy. Guys want to go. They want to start hitting each other and don't want to put on the brakes so much. You're seeing that more across the league. It did happen yesterday with the Lions. It did also happen with Chicago Bears. There are some reports that Caleb Williams is starting to develop. Of course, that's what you expect to hear. All right, Green Bay, Jordan Love's contract extension. The Green Bay Packers are the most unprecedented QB run in NFL history, or on the most precedented NFL QB run in NFL history. And I think everybody who's a casual NFL fan would probably have to agree with that. That's 4 straight guys that they've had that are very efficient quarterbacks, starting with the Magic Man himself, Don Majkowski, then going to the Hall of Famer, Brett Favre, then going to probably another Hall of Famer in, Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. We've only had one season with the guy, but it does look like he's going to be pretty decent. And, I think the basement on him would be, hey, he's a very capable NFL quarterback. The ceiling would be he might be another Hall of Famer. So could they do it? I'm hoping not, but that does seem like what it is. All right, with all that out of the way now, let's go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the day, as you guys can see from the thumbnail when we got in here, there are a lot of people in the Detroit Lions defense that are saying this is the year the Lions really make the jump forward. This is the year that we get tunnel vision and see the Lions get into a top 10 defense. This is a season that we're going to see them really not just have to rely on that offense to overpower teams. That this will be a complete team. We've talked about for weeks now, months now, whatever you want to say, that this team is balanced. It's deep. It's across the board. I mean, heck, yesterday you lose last year's starting kicker, and you might actually be even, if not better, with the new guy. We'll have to wait and see. You look at the secondary, and we're guessing who's starting. And really, if this guy doesn't start and that other guy comes in, does it really greatly impact the team? Probably not. You've got Emmanuel Mosley, Robertson, Arnold, Rakestraw, Davis. You got so much depth in the secondary that I think it's going to be fun to just watch these guys play. Now you look at the defensive front. We all know who Aiden Hutchinson is. He could make another jump forward this year. And you know what? If he gets to where he's getting 15 or so sacks a year, maybe 17 sacks or so a year, I'd say he's pretty dang good. And a lot of the people that had speculation about him, questions about him coming out of the draft, are going to probably have to say, you know what? The Lions got the steal of the draft when he fell from the potential number 1 pick to number 2 right into their lap. Kudos for the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes for making that move and sprinting to the podium to make that selection. On the linebackers, could Jack Campbell make another jump forward from year 1 to 2? He would be in the next Lions defensive player, or just player overall, who was drafted and made slow, steady progressions forward. Ife Melifonwu, was he an 8-game wonder, or is he going to be a starting nickelback or safety for the Detroit Lions team? With Brian Davis, we talked about him yesterday. Brian Branch, talked about him yesterday. This guy could be an absolute weapon for the team, and I think most casual observers, let alone those who do a deep dive on the team, would all say, Brian Branch he's probably going to be a Pro Bowler sooner versus later. He's got that type of skill and ability. Yes, I know that we talked about other guys like, Betts. Could he be an impact player? Could Houston be an impact player? What about Levi Onwuzurike? DJ Reader, by the way, good news out of him yesterday. He was seen on the field making another progression forward to returning. It sounds like his, strength, his conditioning are coming back faster than anticipated. So it is real possible that he will be out on the field against the Rams week 1, let alone starting. But all right, we've got about 15 minutes or so before we get into the video with Micro Mike when he joins us. So I do want to get over to the Duke Crew, give you guys your just due, and see what you guys have to say. How good can this Detroit Lions defense be? You've heard me talk about it. You've seen or read the thumbnail. I think they could be a top 10 defense, maybe even push for somewhere in the top 5 If they do that, I don't think there's going to be much opportunity for the Lions to win lose this season unless they just have a bad day. But could they be the doomsday defense? Could they be the bringer of pain on other teams? Could they be the best thing since the Legion of Boom? So let's see what you guys have to say this morning. All right, Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Doom and gloom for the opposition! Exclamation point. Number one, here we come. I see Super Bowl. Woo! And you know what? I think there's a lot of truth to that, Bo. I think we might be bringing the pain to other teams and bringing the doom down on them. That's for you. All right, back to the comments. Jesse, good morning. Duke gang! Exclamation point. Yes, I do believe the power of this year. You have to, man. All the pieces are there. All the speculation about how good this guy is, that guy is, the system, how aggressive and assertive we're going to be. I'm really liking it. The more and more I look at the pieces and how they're all seemingly going to work together, yeah, I think we're going to get after teams. Doesn't mean we won't give up points. Doesn't mean we won't get burned sometimes. But I think we're going to force a ton of sacks, hits on quarterbacks, shots in the backfield, and maybe some pick passes here and there. All right, Quentin Green, salutations, y'all. Coach, talk to me about how this defense is going to work and look this season. I am thinking we've got everything needed to be the best in the NFL. Let's start with this. I think we're going to be the most aggressive defense in the NFL. That's my personal belief. Now, why do I think that? Because if you look at what Aaron Glenn likes to do, and maybe there's a debate to be had that, hey, he's that aggressive the end of last year, plus they used him year before because they know they can't just sit and play standard defense in the NFL. But I also think that there's a lot to be said about he wants to push the pocket. He wants to get after the other team's quarterback. He wants that running back hit in the backfield. He wants to also, as a former defensive back, to be able to put his defensive backs in better positions to make easy reads or educated guesses on what routes are going to be more applicable to beat the Detroit Lions or be used against the Detroit Lions. So that's why I think he's going to, for the most part, 70% of the time, instead of like the rest of the NFL where they play zone, we're going to play man, play zone 30% of the time. I also think he's going to mix his coverages a little bit more this year because of the depth in the secondary. Just because you can wheel guys in and out if you need to give them a playoff or a break. End of the day, though, I think this will be, and I know I've said it before on the show, I think we're going to be very similar to the 2000 Ravens, the 85 Bears, and there's other defenses for sure that you can throw out there, maybe like the 2018 Philadelphia Eagles, where basically we're just going to come after you, and there's only so much time you have to make the right read or adjustment. If your quarterback, throws a bad pass, it's a little off, a little late, a little tipped or whatever, we're probably returning it for 6 points. I think that's where he's going with it because, again, more and more the rules favor the offense versus the defense. So you're, as a defensive coordinator, you've got to pick your poisons, what you're going to do. I think you're just going to try to put more pressure on the quarterback and play for those mistakes. All right, Kurt, let's see. Good morning, Duke Crew. It's Saturday, so I can catch the live, so life is good. Well, welcome into the Saturday morning show. I'm glad you're kicking back and relaxing, my friend. Thanks for being here. Bo, the power of many, exclamation point. Many sacks, many hits, many picks. Oh, yeah. And I think we're on the same page there, Bo Booth. I think that's where we're going with it. I think we're just going to unleash speed on other teams and say, hey, we're going to set up, a 7 to 8 person box. You're not going to be able to run on us effectively the vast majority of the time. Now, with those 7 or 8 guys up there, if you're passing, who's coming, who's dropping, and, try to force some hesitation on other quarterbacks. If you get people to hesitate, even if it's a half second, that's where mistakes start happening for the offense. That's where I think we're going. All right, Voltron, good morning, all. Bo, how are you doing? Question mark. Hey, Coach, who will be our sack and interception leaders? Man. Let's start with this. As far as sacks, I think, until proven otherwise, I think it's going to be Hutchinson's going to be in that list. Whoever the end is opposite Hutch, I think this year is going to have a pretty good year. For now, I guess I'll go with Davenport because he seems to be the odds-on person to start over there. But I still think James Houston is going to be high on that list. Who knows? Maybe even challenges for team lead. As far as interceptions, as much as it'd be easy to say someone like, all right, Terry Arnold's going to have 50 interceptions this year. I do think he's going to start or come off the bench a lot at the start of the year. I'm still holding to my guns that this week 1, probably week 2, you probably got Emmanuel Mosley, Robertson, Davis starting as your corners. And then, watching Rakestraw and Arnold as they get more and more acclimated to the NFL game, get more and more snaps. And maybe Arnold does eventually supplant somebody. But Robinson's pretty dang good, man. You look at his scores from last year. I want to say quarterbacks, I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was like 80. Quarterbacks only had a 80 rating against them. Now, conversely, if you looked at someone like Tracy Walker, who was on the team last year, Tracy Walker gave up 120. So that's a massive difference. Cam Sutton was something like 100. So Robinson would have been our best graded cornerback last year if he was on the team. Carlton Davis, he was also around, I want to say, a 90, so pretty dang good. I don't remember offhand what Emmanuel Mosley's was 2-3 seasons ago in San Francisco, but I'm going to assume it's in that range. And the fact they're all veterans, that's going to give a big advantage. So if I had to pick somebody to be our interception leader, it would probably be in that scenario Kirby Joseph, because I think a lot of the times, because the press man coverage we're going to run, quarterbacks are going to try to beat it by throwing deep up the sideline or out routes, or maybe post patterns in the middle of the field, which in the out routes, the deep post patterns, etc., those go right into Kirby's strengths in the parts of the field he's mostly responsible for. All right, Sosimo, greetings, salutations, everyone in the Duke crew. Back at you, Sosimo. Hopefully have a great one. Bo, amped up Voltron. My voltage meter is blowing up. There you go, Voltron bringing the power. All right, Moonscar, good morning, Duke crew. Jack Campbell looking like a lean, mean fighting machine. Yeah, he's, like most rookies, you look at what they were the rookie season and how much their body transforms by year 2 and 3. I think Captain Jack's on the right move. I think he's going to have a pretty impressive season. All right, Joseph, yes, that's what Jack Campbell was saying on his interview. Yeah, he was saying it. Like I said, you have some clips with him yesterday. You have a couple clips with, who was it? Reader, Aleem. You've heard Hutchinson talk about it, like on Rich Eisen and stuff like that this week. Hey, there's a lot of speculation that this Detroit Lions defense could be pretty good. Now, if Jordan Love has a bit of a pullback season, could that aid the Detroit Lions defensive rankings? Yes. If JJ or whoever the quarterback's going to be in Minnesota, if they struggle a little bit, does that help the Detroit Lions defense? Yes, especially if Detroit's defense is the cause of those struggles. And then Caleb Williams, if he goes through some of the normal rookie learning opportunities, could that also aid? It could. You look at some other teams we have this year. I think the aggressive, assertive approach on Detroit's D could lead to some pretty good numbers and stats. All right, Bo, lift your heads and hold them high. Lions D is running by. Fair enough. I'll go with that. That's a good one there, Bo. Steve, good morning. Oh, Coach, did you go see Wolverine and Deadpool? Question mark. We did last night. Thought it was pretty funny. Yeah, Jen, a group of like 10 of us, a bunch of buddy of mine who are into comic movies and stuff. We all went on Thursday, went to whatever it was, like the 5 o'clock show. We liked it. It was funny. I think everybody had a pretty good time with it. So I wouldn't take like a 12-year-old kid to go see it just because there are some comments and stuff. There's nothing visually, but a lot of the jokes and stuff. If you're like 15, 16, or older, you'd probably have a pretty good time with it. All right, JDC, good morning, all. Good morning to you, JDC. I'd see Joseph Green, salutations, coach of the Duke crew! Exclamation point. One more week. Go Lions. One pride, baby. Woo! Oh, yeah. All of the above, Joseph, and I agree. One more week to go until we get to watch a little bit of football. See, Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Getting to rest up and in a bit this show. Okay. Dan, how much did your heart sink when your guest yesterday said Houston could be cut or traded? Quite a bit, man, because, Avery, he does a lot of good video work and breakdowns and stuff, and I give him kudos for it. That's a Spirit of Detroit podcast. Is it possible James Houston could be on the door out or the ride out or whatever town? It is. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. Just because while he does struggle, I think everybody who watches him gets it. He's not great at setting that edge on the defense. So I think there's some schematic things as a coach I would do to offset that or protect that. But what he does is he gets to the quarterback. What does every team in this league want more of? Guys that can get to the quarterback. So his strength is so strong, to me, it mitigates the weakness. I don't think he's leaving Detroit this year. I am actually projecting he's going to have a pretty dang good year for the Lions, and probably by the midway point of the year, everybody's going to be like, yeah, why do we have that guy in special teams the second year where he got hurt? I'd say Joseph, yeah, Moonscar, Jack looks ready to go. I agree with that 100%. Burger time. Good morning, everyone. What's up, Coach? Let's go, Lions. Woo! Good to see you, Bergs. Thanks for all you do for the channel, and hey, hopefully you're having a little bit of time off today and tomorrow, because I know you've been going after it. Let's see, Joseph, good morning, JDC. Phil, greetings and salutations. Back at you, Phil. Looks like Phil's working on yet another new guitar. Let's see, Bo, Stephanie has that radar love. I see what you did there. Seeking true Hallelujah Blue Dew Crew, here for you 100%. And Stephanie, now that we know what she does for a living, chasing down the bad guys, hey, good for her, man. Probably needs some rest. Eddie, what do you got? Greetings, salutations. I think Jack Campbell is pretty set up to have a great year. Now add in the other guys and on contract seasons and the aggressive system we play, I'm liking it. Yeah, I think all those are going to be good factors. All right, Matthew Greens, salutations. Good morning, everyone. Super Dome, Super Bowl, woo, woo, woo. All of the above, and yes, it's going to be a super kind of season. At least that's our expectations, right? All right, buddy, what up, Coach and Duke Crew? What's up with you, buddy? Hopefully nothing but good times. All right, let's see, Matthew, good morning, Burger Time. Clark, good morning, all you crazy kids out there. Woo! And a good morning to you, Clark. Let's see, Joseph, morning, Burger Time. Patrick, good morning, Duke Crew, and Coach Dan, exclamation points. I do believe the Lions D has the potential to be one of the top 5, if not number 1 overall this year, as long as they put in the work and stay focused. Yeah, stay focused, put in the work, stay healthy, and again, I'm just my mindset continue to be the most aggressive unit out there. Joseph, morning, Stephanie. Dennis, good morning, Dan, Duke Crew, back at you. Moonscar, Joseph, that's what I was thinking. He will be one of our aces, making this defense high in rankings. Yeah, Captain Jack. I mean, let's just go through the list, man. Does anybody out there think Ali McNeil is not going to have a good year this year? I'd say most of us would say yes. Whoever starts at the opposite end of Hutch is probably going to have a pretty good year. I think Barnes, man, Jack Campbell, like we already mentioned. You talk about Anzalone, Houston, I think is going to have a pretty good year. The secondary should have a pretty good year. Again, as long as all those things come into play, this defense should be pretty dang good. See, Darcy, good morning. Duke Crew and family, back at you. Bo, Saturday morning, and all the usual suspects in the house. Preach to us, Coach. Preaching away there, Bo. Preaching away. Trey, what's good all? Question mark. What are we? A week away from the preseason games? Yeah, just about that, man. About a week. Mike, greetings and salutations. Good morning, Duke Crew. Woo, woo! And good morning to you too, Mike. Stephanie, good morning, Joseph. Moonscar, I absolutely cannot wait to watch them play, as I know we all can't wait. Yeah, we're all ready to go. Let's see, Mike. Jerry Jacobs went to the Rams. I hope he stays. Please, so he's so garbage. I like Jerry Jacobs. It's just, again, I like him as somebody coming in off the bench. I just don't think he should have ever been put in the situation to be a number 1 or number 2, maybe even a number 3 cornerback at the NFL level. But hey, situations, dictated that he had to be in those moments, and he probably did the best he could. And we're probably going to notice a significant jump in the secondary's performance just because the guys should play a little bit better and have a little bit better overall athleticism. All right, Moonscar, Bo, we are truly addicted. Forgive us all. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, man. We're all into it. Let's see, Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan the Duke Crew. I'm drinking Hallelujah Blue Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah. And hey, go with that, man, and hopefully it quenches the thirst until the season gets here. Rocky M, good morning. All a number 1 defense would mean Super Bowl. Woo! And I would agree. If we really have anything close to the number 1 defense in the NFL, on top of a top 3, top 5 offense, I just think it's going to make it real hard to beat the Detroit Lions unless they beat themselves. Time, good morning, Matt. Good morning to you. France, good evening, everyone. Hoping for a great season and to take that last step forward to a Super Bowl win. I agree. It's the last thing for us to do. Got to go out there and get it done, though. All right, JDC, good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Burger Time, good morning, Joseph. Bo, Moonscar, let us be anointed with Hallelujah Blue Kool-Aid. I'll go with that. All right, guys, it's time to get over to Micro Mike. Now, I am going to let you guys know this is a tape-delayed recording, so I'm going to get it to you guys, and it'll be back right after the video. I don't think I'll be able to put the comment section on during the video, but I will try. Oh, that's not it. Wrong one. All right, you all know him. He is the godfather of social media for the Detroit Lions content. He is known internationally and around the world as Micro Mike, the godfather of the Detroit Lions. Micro, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I got to say, I had no idea about these graphics. I'm the godfather. Hey, I'm 39. I guess I'll be the godfather at that age, man. I appreciate it, though. Thanks for the love.
So, hey, we've been chatting about it. Lions fans everywhere have been brewing and waiting for this moment. Training camp is underway. We're finishing the first week. You know, what do you got so far as expectations from this team? MCDC, I get he tries to keep things quiet, keep it down, but what are your expectations?
Look, I'm just like the rest of the players, and I'm on Ross St. Brown and Taylor Decker. They spoke yesterday. I do kind of believe it's a Super Bowl or bust type of situation here. You got the talent, you got the coaches, now you just got to do it. You know, the hype is real because this team is real good. And my expectations is to make a Super Bowl. I really do. And I know that sounds crazy, but you know, we got everything right now to get it done. It's just up for the hard work of the players that they got to do to get in that position, and they're starting it right now.
You know, with I think a lot of people's expectations, whether it's national media or, you know, whatever, Detroit media, just Lions fans in general, everybody has a lot of high expectations for this team to come out, potentially make a run at another NFC North title. But we know people like the Green Bay Packers, maybe even the Chicago Bears, can come up and challenge. If you're MCDC himself, what do you have to do to keep this team focused enough to where, hey, none of the outside noise or distractions, come after you, get after you, and help distract the team? Because we always know someone like Jared Goff's going to tell everybody quiet down, keep it silent or whatever. But what do you do if you're MCDC or the coaching staff?
If people feel like they're getting out of hand or they are feeling themselves a little bit too much, it's simple. You just do the second half of the Lions and 49ers game, post that on there and see that don't believe the hype, don't believe anything. You know, you can't take anything for advantage. All the teams are coming at the Lions. They're going to come at them really hard this year. This is not a sleeper team anymore. This is one of the teams to beat. So every team's going to give the Lions their best, and the Lions got to stay like they are the underdogs. They got to stay like they're the one that's being disrespected, and understand that don't feel yourself. It's about the hard work. And just because you're proclaimed a good team by the media doesn't mean you're going to win on Sunday. You got to get the job done.
You know, this week, one of the things that I think caught a lot of people off guard was that Emmanuel Moseley, appears to be pretty healthy. I know they've done some different things with his second ACL recovery. They've played him somewhat outside. They played him a lot on the nickel. And you've even got MCDC himself coming out this week and saying, hey, we're looking at playing him at safety. They think he's a playmaker out there. Do you think this is just preseason, a bluff game by the coaching staff? Or do you think Dan Campbell is correct when he says that Brian Branch might be a elite player or a playmaker for them at the safety position?
Well, first off, when it comes to Brian Branch, he's a universal player. You know, he's going to be all over the field. His talent is immense, and they want to utilize that skill set. And I think safety is a position. He can roam around and make the big plays like we have seen him done. You spoke about Emmanuel Moseley. He's healthy right now, and wherever they want to place him, I mean, he was practicing in the slot. He's going to get it done, and I 100% actually believe what Dan Campbell said. They're going to put the best 11 out there, and it may not be the normal position that a player is going to be in. Like Brian Branch is just a nickel, and that's not the case. Brian Branch is a nickel. He could play linebacker. He could play safety. They got a lot of players like that. So I actually believe everything that he's saying, because we've seen it last year too, how they utilize players in different positions. It's not going to be any different here. They just got better talent. So, look, all these guys are going to be on the field. Don't know exactly what position on every single play, but I do actually agree, and I believe I'm 100% when he says that.
Yeah, it seems like, and let me know your thoughts, but it seems like when it comes to the secondary, the Detroit Lions have almost gone positional less, where hey, you're Iffy Melifano, you can play corner or safety. You know, you're Brian Branch, you can play corner or safety. I know that, Carlton Davis at Tampa Bay has played both. And we know coming out of college that Rakestraw and Arnold did at different times play safety and corner. Do you think that's something this coaching staff, or especially Aaron Glenn, are going to lean towards?
Yeah, Aaron Glenn's big into that. He likes universal, and he's like putting players in different spots. And I think that's why they got these type of players that can play multiple spots, right? So on game day, they can disguise their scheme. It could start out like, oh, Brian Branch is in the nickel, but he's just going to switch to safety because these guys are so universal, and that's going to screw up, quarterbacks on the opposite side. It's going to screw up because you don't really know what's going to happen defense, where the players are going to be. I mean, we've seen in years past where quarterbacks such as an Aaron Rodgers is like, I just see kind of where the players are going to be at. I know what they're going to do. Now, this is not the case for the Lions. These guys can play all positions. So just because they're showing one type of play right after the snap, it could be something different. And that's an Aaron Glenn style, and that's what we're going to see on Sunday.
One last thing about the defensive side of the ball. We've seen that they've moved Marcus Davenport to the linebacker spot. They've also moved, or at least designated, Mekhi Wingo as the defensive end. Do you think that further pushes this team towards basically positional less, where, man, guys are just playing all over? Like you said, they're just going to put the best 11 players on the field and not really worry about what position they are.
Yeah, I do agree that's going to be the case. Now, when it comes to like a Marcus Davenport, I primarily do believe he's going to be at edge. Will there be positions where he drops back, or some plays that he drops back? Maybe it's like a 3rd down and 15 or something. Yeah, I mean, you're going to see that. But I think primarily with the defensive line, they're going to be the defensive line. The linebackers, they're going to be the linebacker. It's more the secondary to me, that because they're so universal all over the place, that they can play different spots, and understand that the talent is much improved this year than it was last year. So they're just trying to get the best 11 on the field. And I concur with that sentiment.
All right, so now let's talk about the offense. And hey, this week we got some video of Jameson Williams just blowing by people, catching touchdowns, catching it with his hands. His footwork looks better. His route running looks better. Goff's placement with him, or timing with the two of them, seems much improved. What are some realistic expectations out of this offense in Jameson Williams this year?
Jameson Williams, for whatever reason, is a controversial player in Detroit, even though I think he's kind of just a relaxed guy. He doesn't speak a lot. I don't know why he's so controversial. Right. It's like Jared Goff. When we got him, he was controversial. So come on, man. But when it comes to Jameson Williams, I've been preaching patience and him getting on the same page with Jared Goff. And guess what? At the end of last year, it was starting to happen, and now we're seeing it in training camp, where not only is he, like you said, faster, he's catching everything, but his body is physically better. Like, he's in better shape. His diet is better. He is faster. And he's been in 3 years in the system. So now he's really understanding all the routes and what he's got to do. He's thinking less, reacting more. And that's just what happens. Folks, players learn at a different pace. Not everyone's going to be a Sam Laporta that's going to come out and be a stud. Sometimes it takes him a little bit of time. And Jameson Williams did that. And it's year 3. Expectations for him, I expect him to get around 900 yards receiving. 7-8 touchdowns. I think that's about realistic here for Jameson Williams, and that's a big jump from what he had last year. He's going to be a difference maker. There's no doubt about it. Is he going to make errors throughout the season? Of course. Everybody's going to make errors, but he's just getting better and better and better. And we've seen that in OTAs. Now we're seeing it at training camp. He's just going in this direction, and that's a good thing for him.
All right, Micro Mike, I want to thank you for coming on over, giving us your wisdom and everything else. He is the Godfather. He is Micro Mike. Micro, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out? Let everybody know, if they don't know already, where they can find you and your content.
Lions Nation Unite. I definitely want to shout that out, guys. We're going to be putting on all content creators, including Dan on here, that's going to be on there. Make sure you subscribe to it. I know I've been doing it a lot on that channel, but now we're passing it down to everybody. Why? Because I think having 12 brains is better than one. Subscribe to Lions Nation Unite.
All right, he's Micro Mike. Go check him out. Chat Sports, Lions Nation Unite. Micro, I want to thank you for your time.
I appreciate it, brother.
All right, that was our interview with Micro Mike. Hopefully you guys liked it. And could you even tell that was taped late? I made sure I wore the same shirt so it'd make it harder. So probably going to do more and more stuff like that with the show as we're continuing to try to add more to the show. I've talked to you guys for a long time that one of the biggest problems I have running a 7 a.m. show is not everybody wants to get up and out of bed or on the air at 7:30. So hopefully stuff like that continues to bring you guys more content and make for a stronger overall episode for you guys. All right, let's get into a couple more comments here before we end the show today. Michael, what are your thoughts on Jordan Love's contract? Goff's deal seems to get better and better. So I agree. The more quarterbacks that sign, and was it Dak Prescott would be the next probable quarterback to get signed. The more you're looking at them, you look at their structures, and to be fair, I haven't done as deep a dive with those as I would with Goff's or a Detroit Lions player. But we talked about when Goff's numbers first were revealed, I was like, hey, you can look at the headline number and it's whatever, $54 million a year. But that's not really what Goff's going to get. Goff, when you look at the full details of the contract, his contract number comes down to about $43 million. I mean, right around there. So about $10 million less than what it would seem to be. The other part is we have basically $40 million left in available cap. It's my anticipation someone like Goff's contract or maybe some other players on the team, that money will be used to help buy down some of their remaining contracts. So it'd be my guess you get a year from now, Goff's contract's probably ultimately closer to $40 to $38 million a year. So, Michael, real quick, Jordan Love's contract, again, to be fair, I won't do as deep a dive with those numbers as I would a Detroit Lions players, but at least on the surface from what you can read, what's reported, it does seem like it's going to be a little bit more cumbersome for the Packers than what Goff's contract is for the Lions. Hopefully that helps with you guys on that one. Let's see, Uncle Buzz, sounds like your boy Scorsdale is doing okay. Yeah, it does sound like he's progressing, and you guys probably get that with so many rookies. When they come in, it's just such a leap forward from college that it does take him some time. I think him, Broderick Martin, will be probably the next people in line to make that jump forward. Fans will go back and say, hey, I guess this was a good pick. Sort of like if you guys remember when Iffy was picked, people were calling him a bust until last year. Now nobody thinks that way. Same with Derek Barnes. And there's a slew of other guys that fall into line with that. Most guys don't come into the league and break out right away. It's so rare when you get somebody like a Laporta or a Gibbs that just comes in, or Branch, and it's like hitting a home run with them from the moment they get here. Beecham, what do you got? Your thoughts on the Lions playing only 3 outdoor games? I think it's a huge win for Detroit, especially. Well, I won't say especially, just both sides of the ball, because you look at the strengths of both sides of the ball, they're basically track teams. And I think you're just going to be able to exacerbate the fact that you play indoors, controlled weather. I also think it's probably why Jake Bates chose Detroit over other options, because really, you look at his numbers in the UFL indoor stadiums versus outdoors, and there is a noticeable difference. They're going to play, as you just pointed out, so many games indoors that he should have the opportunity to have a pretty good season. All right, let's see. Miles, live women's swimming. Yeah, right now, the Olympics. Yep. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Bergheim, Dan, and Micro Mike, what a great way to start my Saturday. Woo! One pride. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. France, great job picking Micro on the show. Yeah. Anybody in Lions Nations Unite or that group, we do a lot of talking. It's just difficult to get everybody on the same page because everybody's schedules are so different. I was trying to think outside the box how to get it on, and now that I've run it, man, you couldn't even really tell it was tape delayed since I could do the comments and everything else through it. It's probably something I'll have to toy with more and more. I'd say Berg time. Jamie will have a monster year. Happy Lions were patient with his progress. So he's another one. I know we mentioned Scoresdale, Martin, and Derek Barnes, and everybody else. But you think about Jamo, this is his 3rd year. And in earnest, when you look at the amount of games he's played last year, so far he's really only played 1 season worth of games. So I think he will have a real strong season. He seems to be the betting favorite amongst fans and other media that, hey, Jamo is set up to have a real strong season. All right, Bo, I endorse Michael Mike's secondary thoughts. Yeah, some real good thoughts over there. See, Darcy, Dan will be heartbroken if Houston gets cut. Yes, I will. I'll be crying in my morning Mountain Dew for sure. Eddie, Jamo will blow up this year. Yeah, I think that's what the expectations are for Jameson Williams, that he's going to have a real strong season, that, the Lions offense, could be potentially a whole lot more deadly than it was even last year. And let's be honest, the last 2 years, this offense has been pretty legit. Joseph, I really appreciate that, Coach Dan. Hey, no worries, man. I'm glad you guys like it. Joseph, that was a great job what you did. Hey, hopefully it keeps working. And hopefully keep working that out with some people. So Krista Robertson, trying to do the same thing with her today, find a point in the day where we can interview 10 minutes or so, and then I can play that on tomorrow's show or a different day's show. See, JMO is going to training camp well ahead of where he was in the first 2 seasons. Yeah, 100%. He's noticeably different. You hear that from the defensive players. You hear it from the coaching staff. And to me, the most important part, I try to listen to non-biased partisans. You listen to the people, the reporters there with feet on the ground watching, and at least the media contact people that I chat with, they all say the same thing. You would see this guy's better. You can see this guy, might be a question mark here. And when you get to get people talk off the record where they can just be themselves, that's where you get people to be honest. But to be fair, they're all saying the same thing about Jameson Williams, that he is going to be a difference maker for this team this year. All right, Joseph. Yeah, this is Jamo's first training season, ain't it? Yeah, because last year, he was suspended. So you're correct. You are correct on that. Joseph, training camp. Yes, correct. Let's see, Dennis, great job, Dan, and Mike, best on YouTube. Yes, it played a whole lot easier than I thought it would. See, Houston will make the team. I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping big time. Don, what do you got? Broski just wants Houston in Chicago because they're dormant defensive end. It could be. Yeah, I could see a lot. If Houston gets cut, I think there are going to be a ton of teams all over them. So if I'm Brad Holmes knowing this, if we're really going to move on from him, which I don't think is going to happen, I'm probably seeking a trade for him, and I could see them getting some, like a third or fourth round pick for James Houston, somewhere in that range at least. I'd say, Joseph, have a great day, Coach and Duke crew. Great show. Thanks for that, man. Bird time, please. No Lions Syndicate. Okay, I'll work on that. Hale, what do you got? Who has a bigger year, Wingo or Pascal? That's a great question, man. I'm going to go with Pascal just because he's gone through the rookie, curves or whatever. But Wingo, at least from what we're hearing, he's having a pretty impressive camp. And I get they haven't put on pads or anything yet, so wait and see how it goes. But I'm going to guess that both of them are going to have pretty good years. I'm going to favor Pascal just because, this is year, I think, 3 for him. Dennis thinks Wingo, though. Go with that. Let's see, Moonscar Bergs, I don't think you have to worry about Dan getting the syndicate. I never hear from them. And there's a couple people I've reached out to, Motor City Mantra. And we've talked about doing, a show together. It just, never has worked out. I've tried to get, I'm trying to remember. I've had him on the show before. I don't know. I can't remember everybody's names, but I try to work with, as many different people as I can because even though there are some people that may not always get along, I like reaching out to different types of content creators, different people, just because then you get a wider scope of thoughts and ideas. So if you guys have any recommendations, somebody you want me to reach out to, let me know. I'll reach out to anybody and just try to have a good conversation with them. All right, Berg time, laughing out loud. I just hope no fans ask for him. All right, Syndicate, laugh out loud. Okay. All right, well, we'll wrap up today's show, get off the air here, and go from there. If you haven't yet subscribed, Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making that march to 7,100, and we're about 50 or 40 some subs away. Also, if you would hit that thumbs up button, it helps the channel out a lot. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. If we do have some sort of breaking news about the Lions, I'll try to get it over to you as fast as possible. Otherwise, we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.